Good afternoon, and we have Kostyantyn Batozsky, student advisor to the governor of Donetsk administration. Tell us about the situation in Donetsk. Tell us about the governor. The governor is in Mariupol. He coordinates the work of operational headquarters in Donetsk emergency. Representative of the Donetsk Emergency Ministry, they are working there, and they work on those issues which they are responsible for. The most important for us is to organize transportation for equipment to come and for bodies of victims to be delivered to Kharkiv. So Donetsk Department of Ministry of Emergencies working there. Yes, yeah, they're working there since yesterday. And as soon as we received information about the accident, there was a problem with separatists. They did not allow specialists for an hour and a half, and Russian TV channels were there. And only then, when they left, they allowed us to work. So at what time did they allow you to work there? Around 6 o'clock. I cannot give you precise time. It was in the evening. In addition to Ministry of Emergency people, is there police? Police started to arrive yesterday in the territory of the accident. It's under the control of separatists. So some policemen left the offices, and only today we were able to send 30 policemen. They stop looting, and about 20 volunteers help to find bodies.
And how do terrorists behave now? Do they put obstacles to investigation? I forgot to mention that also the people from the prosecutor's office of Torres are working there. And the people from DNR, the Donetsk People's Republic, they put 3 checkpoints. Many of them are with arms, but they do not impede. There was the information, there was a statement from Donetsk. Can you hear? Can you hear? Yes. There was information that there was a statement of the head of Donetsk administration, Tal Ruta, about creating of demilitarized zone around the place of catastrophe. Was there such an idea? Yes, that's correct. The governor came up with this initiative because we're interested to allow everyone to get to the place of the accident. The international observers, relatives of those who perished, they all should have this opportunity, and that is why the governor made this statement. He also called upon providing safe corridors, because this area of catastrophe, of the crash, is sort of separate there at a distance. We need to make this corridor of security, of safety, and this zone without violence, the demilitarized zone. Whose decision is needed? How quickly this could be done? According to my information, the negotiations are going on. They're going on at the level of regional authorities, central authorities, and there is an agreement achieved with the leaders of the terrorists. It's important to achieve agreement with the leaders of terrorists so that they agree to these conditions. The information was contradictory. The Strelkov came up, the leader of the terrorists came up with the statement that he sees no ground to stop fire, and the so-called Prime Minister Baradai sort of supported this idea. Are they not waging any combat now? I mean, the terrorists at the place of the accident, there are no battles going on, no warfare is going on. But today, well, at night, there were some shootings from the side of Russia in Azovsk region near Mariupol. There were shootings at the territory of Ukraine from Russia. When there were the latest shootings from Russia at night? Dear colleagues, do you have any questions to Kostyantyn? One more question, please introduce yourself. Ukrainian radio, could you please tell a little bit about these shootings? Are there any people killed, wounded? And please comment on the situation about the Zenit launchers Buk and Gvozdika. There was the mortar firing, mines launched to the territory. There are no sacrifices. As to the military equipment, I cannot tell you what's the difference between these two pieces of equipment, Buk and Gvozdika. I have no information about how they got to Ukraine and what are they. Do you have any information? Do terrorists have these equipment? Even Russian TV channels informed that they have these weapons. Yes, that's true. We know that there was an attack in the end of June, I believe on the 29th of June. It was informed that such pieces of equipment were stolen, but military have all the information. The governor does not have this information. They were stolen by combatants. And the last question from me, from Ukraine Crisis Media Center: are any international observers arriving, international experts, to this place of the tragedy? I don't know anything about the arrival of international experts. I know that the families and relatives of the victims are arriving to Kiev. I have no information on how will they be moving over the territory of Ukraine, whether they will stop in Kharkov or they will go directly to the place of the accident. I believe until we have a ceasefire there, we cannot guarantee the security for these people. And the second thing I would like to mention, it's related to the fact that the representatives of terrorists stated that they are planning to take their flight data recorders to Russia. And the governor says that such attempts will hamper objective investigation. And this is against the international law. There was information, a lot of information yesterday, photo that on the place of the tragedy there are people who are stealing some precious things, stealing some remnants. Are these the terrorists? I know about that just like you know from mass media. I have no additional information on that. And talking about flight data recorders, black boxes, have they been discovered? Have they been found? 2 black boxes are discovered. I know that. They were found by emergency service of Ukraine. Where are they now? I have no information about that. Interfax Ukraine, were they found when emergency service people worked there after terrorists allowed them there? Yes. You know, there are several black boxes. I don't have information whether all of them were found, all of them which were aboard. some of them, and who has what, I have no information. And the last question from me, Mr. Sibiga mentioned that Kharkiv will become Mr. Sibiga mentioned that Kharkiv will become the center for identification of the bodies of people who perished. Are such remnants of the bodies being transported to Kharkiv to the special laboratory? What's your question about? The question is, Kharkiv will be the center for identification of the bodies. Are the bodies, the remnants of the bodies, being transported to Kharkiv already? No, they're not transported yet because the refrigerators are to be brought there. We are working on providing refrigerators, but it's again the issue of the security. How will they get there? Kharkiv is selected not incidentally when some catastrophes, some crashes like that happen in Ukraine, when foreign citizens perish. The identification works can be conducted only by the experts from regional centers. And in Donetsk, such a bureau is busy with the dead bodies of people who were killed during the military operations, and that is why the decision was made to use Kharkiv as such a center, and our specialists went to Kharkiv as well. Now the procedure looks like that. The remnants of the bodies are collected. You need to remember that the tragedy is so awful that there are actually no intact bodies left. So they conducted primary investigation operations. Only after that they pack these remnants and transport them to the center of identification, and that would be done using the DNA analysis. Thank you, Kostyantyn, for your information. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you.